Hi there, I'm Amanda Castor with Material Girl Quilts, and today I'm here to share with you how to make a temperature quilt. If you aren't familiar with these, a temperature quilt is essentially a quilt that tracks the temperature for a certain location through an entire year. Now, there's many ways to make temperature quilts. Some people choose to just track the high temperature. Some, like me, choose to track the high and low temperature and I stuck with one location for the entire year. Some like to track where they're traveling for the year. There's endless ways to do it, and I'm going to show you here some examples of different styles and ways that people have made temperature quilts. Now, in the video description below, you can find links to all of the makers who I highlighted in the examples of temperature quilts. So for my temperature quilt, I decided to use half square triangles. So each half square triangle represents one day, and it represents the two colors that represent the high and the low for that particular day. So the first thing you're going to need to do is determine which fabrics you'd like to use for your quilt. Now, this is all, however many fabrics you need really just depends on the weather in your location. So I live in the Midwest in the United States, and our temperatures can go from 0 or sometimes below 0 up to the 90s. So that's a pretty large range. So I decided to choose 20 different fabrics, and those fabrics represented 5 degree increments. And actually here are the fabrics that I chose, and these are by Heather Ross, the Ruby and Bee Solids for Wyndham Fabrics. So this is the range that I chose. And then I created a little chart of which color represents which, range in temperature. And then also, once I determined that, when I was starting to cut up my squares to create the half square triangles, I also cut a little scrap off and wrote on here with a Sharpie, what the temperature range was and the color of the fabric. And so I would always have these setting out when I am working on my blocks. Another helpful tip when you are assigning the colors for your quilt is sometimes, as you can see here in the center of my quilt, there's a lot of yellows and orange shades, and some of them are very close to each other. So what I did is I also, at the bottom of, in the selvage of these solids, I wrote the temperature range and the color name on the selvage as well, just so that I can keep track of everything. Now, once you have all of your, and regarding the fabric, the biggest question I get asked is how much fabric did you purchase of each color? Again, this is going to be dependent upon the weather in your area. So if you live in an area like me where it's, varies from depending on the season and day to day, I first purchased between a half yard and 3/4 of a yard of each print. Now the ones that I chose, 3/4 of the yard, were the ones that were within, the most like the spring and summer, so the most common temperatures, the center part, what ended up being the center part of my quilt. But I will tell you that I ordered 3/4 of a yard to begin with, but there were 3 different fabrics that I ended up having to order more, and I had ordered a half yard more of each of those fabrics, and that was more than enough for what I needed. I did not need a full half yard of, the extreme temperatures like the 0 degree or the 90 degree, but since I ordered online, that was the smallest increment you could get anyway. So it all worked out, and I have leftovers, and they're beautiful colors, so I can use them in other quilts. Now that you have all of your fabrics and colors selected, it's time to start tracking the temperature. So there are 2 websites that I found to be very useful when getting historical weather data, and those are timeanddate.com, and you go to the weather tab, and then you'll enter your location, and there's a drop down menu where you can look at the yesterday or past temperatures. So you can find it for the day before or months and even a year before. And then the other is Weather Underground, which is wunderground.com. And you can, again, search for your location and click on the history tab, and it will show you the history, the temperatures in your location. So I like these two options because both of those indicate the highs and lows for each day. And that's what I needed for my quilt. Now, if you are in a stage in your life where you can create a half square triangle every single day and keep up, I'm jealous of you for one, but that just was not going to work for me. So being able to, my life is just a little more hectic than that. So it's nice to be able to go to these websites and look at maybe the last couple of weeks, chart down your temperatures, and be able to, when you have time to sit down and sew, then you can sew your half square triangles. So to keep track of my temperatures, I also just created an Excel spreadsheet and tracked the high and lows for each day of the year. So again, since we are already a few days into January, you don't need to worry about missing out. You can easily go back and find the temperatures from the 1st through today and going forward so that you can know what colors you're going to need for your quilt. Now again, I found it, and I'm just letting you know how it worked for me. Early on, I would do like a week or so at a time, create those blocks, and then once I had enough blocks to complete some rows, I sewed the rows together. But when it came into like spring and summertime and my schedule got busy, it ended up I was doing a month or two at a time later in the year. And it still worked out, and I still have a beautiful quilt. So don't get discouraged, you can finish it, and even if you don't finish it until sometime a year later, you have this data that you can go back to and finish your quilt. So to explain the process for this quilt, what I suggest that you do is you go ahead and cut like one strip, 1 5-inch width of fabric strips from each of your colors, and then subcut those into 5-inch squares. That way you will have one of each color ready for when you need to create your half square triangles for that day. And then once you sit down to create your half square triangles, you can cut those squares on the diagonals. So here is, for example, here's my stack of squares. And then when I was ready to create the half square triangles, I would then cut the fabrics that I needed for that particular day. I would cut them along the diagonal to create 2 triangles. And then you will just simply place your triangles right sides together. If they're print fabrics, I chose solid, so it really doesn't matter there's no right or wrong side with these fabrics. But you would place them right sides together and sew along this diagonal line here, a 1/4 inch seam, to create your half square triangles. And here's one that's been sewn. And then you can press the seams open on this. It just helps it lay flatter once you piece all of your half square triangles together. I suggest pressing them open. And then you will trim these to measure 4.5 inches once they're pieced. So you just continue this process for the throughout the year for every day of the year. Now when you go to place these into the quilt, the layout for this quilt is 19 blocks across. However, I just want to show you that how we start is, because of the number of blocks that are required for this quilt, I also have a square, a solid square that represents the start of each month. So this is the top corner of my quilt, and this square represents the start of January. So then this one here is January 1st, and the top of the half square triangle is the high and the bottom is the low. And then our next half square triangle is January 2nd. Again, the top is the high, the bottom is the low. And you continue in this way all the way across for 19 blocks. And then you just go to your second row and continue. So this is January 20th. Again, the high temperature is on top and the low temperature is on bottom. And you just continue until you get to February, which, let's see where my solid square is for February. Here it is. So then we get to February, and there's another solid square to represent the start of a month, and then you start with February 1st going forward. Now, for whatever the color you choose to represent the start of the month, it's up to you. You can, once you get these blocks made, you can just make a decision on which color you think looks best. I would recommend that you choose one of the colors on either side of that solid square. So, example, this matches the low from January 31st, and on my January 1st square, it matched the high. So it's up to you which color you choose, but just makes it looks better when it just kind of flows from one day to the next. Now you'll continue in this manner throughout the year, creating your half square triangles for each day. And then I suggest, as you get enough blocks to complete a row, that you sew your rows together, and then maybe sew pairs of rows together, and then sew those pairs together, and then watch your quilt grow throughout the year. Now I have put some materials together for you that will be helpful for making this temperature quilt. It includes a blank coloring sheet. Here is actually a completed coloring sheet once I finish gathering all of the temperatures for my area for 2021, and so this is all filled in, but you would get a blank coloring sheet so that you can use with your own colors to fill in as you go, and you would get a PDF of the temperature tracking chart so that you can fill those in as well. And then the other thing that you will receive is a pattern that includes how to prepare your half square triangles and how to lay out the blocks to complete the quilt. And it will also include the weather resources that I used and all of the details for the fabrics and the fabric ranges I used for my quilt. Now I'm doing something new this year, so to be able to get access to these materials, you can join the Material Girl Society through my website. So you can go to materialgirlquilts.com and click on the Material Girl Society heading at the top, and it will take you to a page that describes all of the things you will get with your membership. And that will include the monthly PDF patterns for my tutorials, as well as access to past patterns. There's already a library of at least 24 PDFs in there. You can also receive, it also gives you access to some more video tutorials and centralized in a central location. It includes links to what I have found to be the best tools and resources for the quilting community. And you will also receive a discount as a member through my shop, Material Girl Quilts. So if you like this quilt and others I've created, I highly suggest you join the membership so that you can get access to the patterns every month as they're released. And you can also join the Facebook group Material Girl Society and share photos of the quilts that you make using my patterns. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my tutorials going forward. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.